Hey, what is up, everybody? Today's video, we're going to be talking about why most businesses generally fail. And more importantly, we're going to be talking about a couple of stages of success each business needs to reach. Matter of fact, more specifically, it's about 5 different stages that I can think off the top of my head that a business would need to go through in order for it to become successful. Now, there's a statistic out there where it's like 98.7 or something like that percent of all businesses fail within like the first a couple of months or something like that. I don't know the exact on it, but a lot of businesses fail. And it's because they're not able to reach certain milestones. And in this video, we'll be breaking down those certain milestones that you're going to need to reach in order to have a successful business. So let's just get straight to the point of this video, because I feel like I can do a pretty good job in explaining a lot of this because I've been through most of them, if not all of these stages. Right now we have 5. I can name off the top of my head, one off the top of my head, off my notes over here. I don't know why I keep on saying top of my head, but we got 5 stages over here. And I want to say, I can safely assume and confidently say I've been through 4 of them. Okay. So knowing that, let's talk about it. The first stage that you're going to need to accomplish, and this just might just seem kind of basic and simple, but the first stage that we're going to need to be able to accomplish is very much the idea stage, as we can call it. Now, this idea stage is when everything initially just starts, everything is just starting out. You're asking yourself, does the world really need this? You're asking yourself, can I really make this? You're figuring out what piece of the puzzle takes what to be able to make something happen. These are the idea stages when you're all writing stuff down on paper, okay? And it's not necessarily you actually building the business yet, but this is all the idea stage. But I mean, that's usually pretty simple. Usually people are able to get past that point. I mean, sometimes they're not, but usually they are. The next one, step 2 or milestone number 2. Now, this is the actual demand. Now you got to ask yourself, do people want this? And one of the best ways of necessarily figuring out the demand is by giving it out to people, maybe in the forms of trials, maybe a free trial. Okay. Maybe you are starting up this project, you have like a roadmap on paper or on the website, and you ask people to pay you in advance for it. Maybe because it'll be cheaper if they pay in advance opposed to paying later. Maybe you offer a couple of demos, things like that. Maybe pretty much you're trying to get people to test. And realistically, this is not really too hard of a step, but a lot of people actually miss this because people are also, because a lot of people are honestly, they're usually are afraid of not necessarily conflict, but they're afraid of they're putting all this work into this and they're afraid of rejection is usually what it is. So one of this could be the most important step of your business's life, and it's very easy to figure out the demand on these sort of things, but because we have access to so many free platforms, for example, Facebook and Instagram, those things, LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, things like that, Pinterest, you can give out free trials to a bunch of people on Facebook. You can contact people on Facebook, see if they like this, show them what your idea is, join a bunch of Facebook groups, find out if people like the stuff. Let me give an example here where someone kind of messed up. There's once this company named Quibi. They actually, you can post this up over here because actually it's pretty cool. Go over here. Let me go, oops. Go over here, Quibi. Now, Quibi was a streaming platform. Let's see, there's over here. It's not going to show too much. Let's go over here. Quibi was a streaming platform. But what ended up happening with Quibi was what happened. Oh, they raised $2 billion. They raised nearly $2 billion. Okay. But what happened with Quibi was the fact that it was a pay-for app pretty much. And how they would promote it is they offer free subscriptions. But what they found out is after the little trial that they have, nobody will end up paying for Quibi. So they raised $1 billion or $2 billion, whatever it is. And the app pretty much flopped right after that, and they had to file for bankruptcy and liquidate. But if they simply tested it out, checked out the demand for the market, maybe they could have saved some money. Maybe they could have figured out maybe this wouldn't be the best idea. Maybe figure something else out to be able to run it successfully, or profitable, which actually brings us to the next milestone. Now, in this milestone, what we're talking about is profitability. Now, profitability, as you guys might understand already, What is profitability? Is revenue minus the actual cost. So the revenue that you're producing minus the cost it takes to make that, to produce that, whatever it is. Okay, so now that kind of makes sense. Now, this third milestone is breaking into profitability. Now, it's completely different because you might see some software companies having incredible profitability, basically because they're just servers to run, and it really isn't that difficult to be able to run a couple of servers. Whereas a grocery store or a local Walmart or Costco, their margins of profitability is very, very slim, because they're all selling the same thing. They're all competing. They all are competing for they're all competing for the cheapest prices with each other. In addition to that, their entire thing is they had to actually make food. They had to get the food. Sometimes the food expires, things like that. But you guys understand what I mean. Profitability is the revenue minus the cost. So the third milestone, third portion, third step is to become actually profitable. That's the very important one too. Let me give you an example of somebody that they kind of flop. It's MoviePass. MoviePass was pretty much this really cool subscription, and it was pretty cool in paper, but it was a subscription where you pay a monthly fee and you get access to unlimited movies. But pretty much what happened with MoviePass, and let me actually share my screen. Let me show you what this is real quick. Well, pretty much what happened with MoviePass is people would pay a certain amount every month, which I don't know exactly how much it is, and people would pay. Yes, view investment opportunities. People would pay a certain amount of money every single month to be able to watch movies, and pretty much they would go to the movie. They would have an app, pretty much, and the app would much swipe MoviePass's credit card, pretty much, and the profitability wasn't there because the subscription was too low for the amount of movies that people want to watch, because the people ended up becoming absolute movie lovers and they would watch too many movies and it wouldn't be cost effective, whereas the actual cost was superseding the amount of revenue that they were making. So that's a pretty cool example there. All right, the next one we got over here. Next one we got over here is we're talking about marketing. Okay, now this marketing is a very important step because obviously that's how you get your customers. Now, most businesses can only go so far based on organic means, organic marketing. Okay, eventually they need to get into paid ads. Okay, or not even paid ads, influencers, other things like that, things that they actually start spending money on it. Even things like Google. Everybody knows Google is, but even Google has their own marketing division to get advertisers to spend more money on ads. That's how Google really makes their money. Even Facebook, everybody knows what Facebook is, but even Facebook has their own marketing division to get people to pay for more Facebook ads. So I'm trying to say is marketing. And now what this mainly comes down to is when you're understanding marketing, and I know I make a lot of videos about marketing, the main concept you got to understand is the LTV, your lifetime value of your customer. Now, let's say you are spending $100 to get a customer, but let's say the lifetime value of that customer is $90. Obviously, you're losing $10 per customer that you get. So that's where it really comes down to knowing and understanding your numbers on average. Your lifetime value of your customer is $120. Okay, yeah, you can afford to spend up to maybe $119 in order to acquire that customer. That's what it mainly comes down to. And let me give you a good example of this. A good example of this regarding the lifetime value of a customer is something like Blue Apron. Now, Blue Apron, what it was is a food subscription service. Now, Blue Apron. It's a food subscription service where you would pay a certain amount of money, and every couple of weeks they would deliver you pre-done meals. Okay, obviously it's still here, but what I want to talk about here is mainly their stock price. All right. As soon as it went public, it started downtrending. Now, the main reason because of this was the lifetime value of their customer was very low. And as you can see over here, they're spending more money in what happened is they're spending more money in marketing to acquire the customer than it actually was worth their actual lifetime value of the customer. So when they became public, immediately the company started downtrending because a lot into the marketing efforts, like I said, the lifetime value of the customer, and because they weren't really able to just overall make it profitable. Okay, they weren't able to make their marketing profitable to justify the lifetime value of the customer. Okay, but something like Blue Apron, Blue Apron, I mean, they have a lot of costs in involved too, because like I said before, when I was talking about profitability, costs come into here too, because food, they spoil quick. So because of that, and knowing how expensive food could necessarily be, their margins is really slim. Now, another cool company that came off the same concept of Blue Apron, but I think did a little bit better. I forgot what exactly it was called, but what they would do is they would collect all the grocery store, not necessarily moldy, but quality control bad food, as in maybe bananas that are a little brown, apples that maybe in a batch one of them might be a little brown or something like that, or maybe an apple that fully isn't ripe or something like that. But pretty much what they do is take non-ripe food and they would actually sell it to people for a subscription, because they would get that for free and they give it out to people. Now that's actually pretty cool, because the cost per is very, very low, and the cost per is very, very low, and the revenue can be very high for that. So that was a pretty cool thing. But yeah, next portion of here. The next part we're talking about is the actual, the most important one, I think, is actually scalability. So once you kind of understand the marketing portion of it, once you understand your lifetime value of your customer needs to be higher than that you're spending on marketing. Now we're coming into the portion of scalability. Now, scalability is kind of when you can also get your investors involved. You can get a bunch of funding. Once you understand that you're already being profitable, your marketing efforts, every time you spend $3, every time you spend $1, you make $3 back. Once you understand those numbers behind those statistics, then you can start getting to scalability. Now, once you have your marketing set up, right, where every time you spend $1, you get $3 back, now you have that cash flow. Cool. Now you can actually get some funding. Okay. Because now you have a business. One of the main things that investors look for when it comes to loaning out money is, do they have the cash flow? Do they have the capital? Do they actually have some sort of business? Their collateral. Two things is just cash flow, collateral, and maybe credit, I guess. But those are the main two things: cash flow and collateral. So once you actually are generating some revenue, once you have every single time you spend $1, you get $3 back. Great. And now you can really start to scale. Like I said, you can get investors involved. Okay. But a big, a scary thing that can happen though is you don't want to scale too fast, because then you run into problems of like oversaturation. Now, let me give you an example. That Peloton bike, the bike, that stationary bike that people pedal and exercise, that's a great example, because what they did is the first year they ran some amazing ads and they sold out. They became like a $60 billion corporation within the first freaking year. But the problem is that they sold out. They oversaturated the market too quickly, because they sold out all the Pelotons too quick, that the next year, nobody really wanted to buy any. There wasn't really much of a market. So one other thing on here that could help them is platforming, is what I want to call it. So when it comes to scalability, one other aspect that allows you to truly scale, that proves that you can scale, is platformability. So now let me kind of explain what I mean here. When you become this company, can there become other companies that rise and make money off of your company? Does that really allow scalability? Let me give you an example. If Peloton were to, when they originally were making like $60 billion, if Peloton instead, maybe they bought out a couple other fitness companies, maybe that rowing machine, if they bought out that rowing machine, maybe they could build another business on there and increase revenue. Or maybe if they bought, I don't know, maybe some sort of boxing equipment, I don't know, something like that, maybe some more software to increase the Peloton, or things like that, in order to necessarily create their business to a platform. Another example of this is like, even simple is like Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft, you got Microsoft Word, you got Microsoft Slides, you got Microsoft everything, Microsoft One Disk, whatever it's called. Microsoft is a platform that builds multiple different companies over here that each can individually generate their own individual profits. Another example of this is like Facebook. Facebook built this amazing platform where other businesses can be built upon their one platform. Now, the ability to build other businesses upon your platform increases your scalability, increase the ability to be able to grow into some major conglomerate. So let me give you an example of one of my most recent projects, I guess, one of the most recent things that I'm trying to start up right now. I want to call it meta funding. Change my name. The name might change eventually, but pretty much what it comes down to is being able to start up new businesses by giving away a portion of the business in NFTs. So pretty much you have this business over here. Okay, you have this business right here. This is the business, and you're able to take this business, put it on to meta funding, and you can separate this business into individual portions of NFTs. Let's say you have 100 NFTs equate to the entire business. You're able to keep 50 as yourself because you want to, let's say you want to keep 50 because you want to at least have half stake, half ownership of the business, and the other 50 NFTs you can sell them for, like, I don't know, whatever you want to do, 10 grand each, so that other people can have a portion of stake in that business. Maybe you can offer them voting rights, but pretty much as the business grows, you'll be able to fund those people. You would pay those guys back. All right. Pretty much it's just a way to fund startup businesses and also provide capital to other businesses that need it to scale by introducing NFTs into the concept. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is it's an open marketplace for funding through NFTs. Cool, right? So now let's just take this through the steps right here. Step one, idea stage. All right, so I got this idea. All right, what I'm going to do now, does the world need this? Yeah, I definitely do think that the world needs this. Can I make it? No doubt. Why does the world need it? Well, for one thing, I realized that NFTs in general, most people think that NFTs are, and I'm not saying this is like you or anything, but most people think of NFTs and they think about this like a little graphic image, and even if you look on Google SEO, Google keyword search history, you're seeing that NFTs kind of starting to downtrend now too, as more of these scams kind of arise, and this FOMO of NFTs are kind of decreasing. So what I'm trying to say is that NFTs, people mainly think they're like expensive pictures. People understand that pretty much an NFT is a way to verify that this individual owns this thing. I personally think that all deeds, all that pink slip to a car, titles, all those things are going to turn into NFTs soon. And that's not almost going to be guaranteed. But there's a big separation between where we don't trust in NFTs yet because we've been scammed so much and there's so much FOMO behind it, and all that space, and when actual NFTs become an actual thing that we regularly use. There's a big space between that, and what's really going to allow that separation, that space to really close in and allow this NFTs to be regularly used is kind of just educating people and showing the real purposes, real life examples that we use for NFTs and not just crypto. So what I aim to do with this project is close that gap right there, right? Close that gap and show people that NFTs have this real world use. Like, for example, you can put your real estate company on MetaFund, and what you can do is you can have like a building over here. You can buy this $100,000 building, whatever, and you can break that up into 10 NFTs, where it's 10 grand each. Okay, and now each individual person that wants to get ownership into this building can just buy an NFT, and it can be set up so that as this building starts generating passive income by the renters that are in it, that money will go into some sort of payroll treasury fund, where that treasury fund will, through smart contracts, will just pay out each individual NFT owner passively. Pretty cool, right? So does the world need it? Yes, most definitely. I believe that by having this will help bridge the gap of questionability in NFTs and allow NFTs to be more widely known and more widely used. So yes, demand. Now my second step is that, like I said, this is a new project that I want to start up. Okay, and demand. Now it comes from demand. So what I'm probably going to do is, now this is really important because I gotta get proof of concept is what it comes down to. So what I would probably do is I would start it up and I would contact somebody. I would contact a business, or I would contact somebody that's looking to get some more funding for a real estate opportunity. I'll talk to some realtors. I'll go on Facebook, whatever. And I'll probably do, because I think the easiest way to do it is probably with that exact building example, that exact real estate example, probably the easiest way to do it. I'll probably contact some of my realtor friends and see if they want to demo it out. All right. And now this is the really most important part, because as I'm in this demand section, as I am just demoing this out, getting trials, I'm gonna get a lot of feedback back. Okay. And now it's really important that I take those feedback and implement it. Now this portion right here, this demand portion, is when I really need to be quick with it. Okay, as soon as I get feedback back, I need to implement it. and I keep on increasing the quality of my product. Third is profitability. Once again, revenue minus cost. So I got to figure out profitability is if I'm making profit. I'm offering a lot as a service right now, but the thing is, it's kind of like a software thing, so it doesn't require too much costs. Maybe upfront it does, but as I keep on going, what I can probably do is I can charge a little transaction fee or something like that, or whatever I can do. I can charge a little percentage fee for every person, every business that becomes listed on the marketplace. And that's how I can figure out my profitability. That's why I really learn my numbers. As I'm learning my numbers, I kind of roll it into marketing, my second portion. I realize the lifetime value of a customer, of each customer for me. Okay. And I'm able to understand how much I can efficiently spend in marketing to be profitable. Okay. By understanding my lifetime value of my customer. Fifth one is scalability. Now, this is when I have everything kind of running, okay? And this is where I'm trying to get investors involved. And one great thing about this is that this meta funding is a platform where other businesses can build their own business on my business. So that's what really, I believe, defines a company from a $100,000 company to $1 million to $1 billion company. The $1 billion company is one that platforms. It's right now nowadays, it's not hard to make $1 million business. It really isn't. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of $1 million businesses, but there are not a lot of $1 billion businesses. And the difference between $1 million business and a $1 billion business is, I truly believe, is platformability. Can other businesses flourish on your business? So guys, I don't want to make this video too long, but I want to thank you guys all for watching. And if you have any questions, obviously guys, just post it down below. I'll answer them all. I'll talk to you all later, and peace out, guys.